Pound for pound, word for word, few poets have managed to achieve written more poems that are beloved by more people, I think. I have personal experience of this working with many, many people and in my own experience with her poetry. These are poems which many people feel are essential, and if there was ever a poem that you might consider for your first aid poetry kit, your portfolio of essential poems, this may well be one of them. It's called Wild Geese, I should say, by Mary Oliver. The poem goes like this. You do not have to be good. It starts with a great line. You do not have to be good. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. I've often thought that a poem that is really cherished by ourselves and by, in this case, many others, is a poem that allows us to walk inside and have our own unique experience. And paradoxically, I've heard it said that when a poet is able to go so deeply or go very deeply into their own personal experience, that they have a chance then to come out into the universal. And I think that's exactly what Mary Oliver has done with this poem. I mean, how many of us, or who among us has not been, let me put it that way, lonely at times, maybe deeply lonely? Who of us has not been confused? And who among us has not sometimes in our lives, maybe many times in our lives, been a little too overly influenced by the expectations of others, particularly the expectation of others that we be good, as some other standard that has been imposed upon us. In this way, I love the way Mary Oliver starts the poem and says, you do not have to be good. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. Now, let me also say, as I've said on this podcast before, I believe that the three characteristics that contribute to making a poem amazingly good is that it be short, surprising, and satisfying. Now, short is relative, of course. I do love some very long poems, but I often love portions of those poems, like Walt Whitman, who wrote very long poems. But we can love short parts of them because I think a short poem has a way more capacity to be good. Just the odds are better. The second is surprising. Now, I bring that up because those lines I just read, you do not have to be good. I think it just comes at us with a whole truckload, a trainload full of permission. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. And then finally, satisfying. And as I've already said, by the title of this particular edition of Dale by Your Own Poetry, I think 99% of the people that I've presented this poem to like the poem. Some people absolutely, many people absolutely loved it. And so I think this idea that this poem is steeped with permission, no matter how lonely the world offers itself to your imagination. I think that we are called to this. We are called to these words because there's such permission in here, and sometimes, maybe many times, we need to hear the words that we are over and over announcing. These words say that we, each of us, has a place in the family of things. And that the world can be harsh and exciting at the same time. So it's not glossing over the difficulties of life, but it is saying that each of us has a place among the family of things. Thank you so much for your listening ear. Listen, make a comment. If you like this poem, if you love this poem, make a comment. Say what you like or love about it. And if you're so inclined, then hit the like button. That'll ensure that more people will hear this particular podcast, this poetry that is selected. And if you can take good care of yourself, I would appreciate that between now and the next poem, as I always say. And if you can, take care of someone else as well. Okay, thanks.